Hey, it's Lexi, and this is my Manifesto video. The video is going to contain a series of interviews. I'm going to be interviewing all different people. I might know them, I might not. They might be theater majors, or they might be English majors. Who knows? But I'm basically going to ask them two questions: what they think performance art is, and whether they believe it should be part of theater. Now, everyone has their own opinions about it. That's cool. But you won't find mine out until the end of the video. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you get informed. And who knows, you might learn something. Alright, stay tuned.
So I wanted to see what you think performance art is.
For me, performance art is a creative work that has been practiced and is shown to a wider audience, a live audience is what comes to mind for me. I think of performance arts as... Performance arts for me, what comes to mind are dance performances and plays, anything that has to do really with something very creative that I think could be considered art, and is, I don't know if it should be considered theater, but I think that both of those entities separately are kind of fall under the same umbrella, so to speak. I think performance arts and theater arts can benefit from each other, and I think that there's a lot to be said about both of them individually.
Okay, so what do you think performance art is, and do you think it should be a part of theater?
Well, I think that performance art is kind of like theater in that it kind of expresses an inward thought or emotion or kind of moral that the performer and the team of performers just want to express to the audience, which is kind of the principle behind theater, even though I feel like theater is more of a specific event or an imagined event that we like to portray. But performance art, while it's more abstract, has still the same kind of backbone that is behind theater. So
Cool, thank you. So, Pookums, what do you think performance art is? Okay. Do you think it should be considered a part of theater? Okay, yeah, moving on. Hello. I just wanted to know what you think performance art is and whether you think it should be considered a part of theater.
Well, I suppose by that term, it sounds as though it includes a lot of things that are outside traditional theater. So I'm going to think of a couple of examples. One might be where I grew up in Massachusetts, in Cambridge, which is where Harvard is. Mm-hmm. There are lots of streets with street performers, and I think of that as a kind of art because usually it's not just music or what they're saying, but there's a lot of body language in it, and they're trying to be very entertaining. So I think something like the people who play the glass harmonica, they really get into
cool.
it. So you're seeing their expression and enjoyment in it. So that might be one example for you. Another one I'm thinking of, I'm trying to think, do they call it the mob dancing? Where there are all these people in a mall and they've got it timed.
Oh yeah, flash mob.
Flash mob.
Yeah.
And somebody, suddenly they hear music and they stand up and they start singing in the middle of a strange crowd, and then somebody else joins and somebody else, and I think that's absolutely tremendous because they seem to be having a great time and the people watching it get into it. So I hope those are two examples that help you.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think that's theater per se or whatever?
I think so. I think anytime it's people expressing an emotion and trying to draw in an audience and hopefully entertain them, not so much educate them, because that seems to me more like a lecturing kind of system, but giving them generally pleasure. Maybe there be some more deeper drama to it, but I tend to think of it as an upbeat kind of thing, and that's what I like to see for entertainment.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what do you think performance art is, and do you think performance art should be considered a part of theater?
Performance art. In a lot of ways, you can consider performance art as acting without a stage. I think that people who do performance art probably are in a bit more of a, and sometimes a little bit more of a strenuous position because they are going against the norm. They're not necessarily doing what other people consider as, you know, as a defined performance. However, I do have to say this. Body exposition and streetwear, I mean, I would consider it an art form because there's artistic expression behind it. There is a legitimized thought and skill put into the display. Now, as a part of theater, that depends on the performance. If it's a singular work, or if someone's just it's probably more akin to a portrait. However,
Okay.
if it's a multi-person performance, if there's a beginning, if there's an end, then yeah, that's acting. That has a very good chance of becoming theater.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so what do you think performance art is? And, do you think it should be considered a part of theater?
When I think of performing arts, I just think of an artist using their body or voice to convey some sort of expression or thought. And it's not really, they don't really spoon feed the meaning, but it definitely has a purpose. It just, I don't think it really, it's not really, I don't want to say it's not really theater, but they definitely fall hand in hand because, they're both performers and there's a purpose and, they are performing to an audience. But theater, when I think of theater, I think of a script. I think of, characters. I think of an event, performing an event. There's conflict, there's rising action, there's a solution, good or bad ending, but nonetheless, the audience kind of gathers that. Whereas performing arts, I think it's up for interpretation. Sometimes it's, not gonna lie, it's kind of bogus, but there's definitely meaning. It's just more, it's difficult to understand for some.
Okay, so it's the end of the video, and I promised you that I would give my opinion on performance art. Well, I think performance art is, makes an audience say, what the fuck? I think that's how I feel most of the time when I watch something in performance art. I really don't know what to think, but I think that's the whole point of performance art. It makes you think. It makes you think outside the box, and I don't think the performers have scripts, anything. They pretty much just have a concept, and I think they just go for it. It's not so staged like theater is. So I think that's why it shouldn't be a part of theater, because it's really unique. It goes beyond the boundaries of theater, and I think it's just a wonderful thing. I mean, I've come to appreciate it more taking experimental theater and whatnot. But yeah, I think performance art is too cool to be in theater. I mean, not that theater isn't cool or anything, but I just think they're too separate to intertwine together. But yeah, that's what I think performance art is, and I hope you learned something, and I hope it wasn't too boring to watch. Sorry about my editing. It's my first time actually editing a video by myself. But yeah, performance art, definitely different, unique, and just out of this world. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.